Hello everyone, I'm Gabor, CPO at Weave, and in today's video I would like to show you some of the new features we just released to the platform, but also give you a general overview what you can do with the Weave Manager. So let's get right into it. So what we see right here is if you have seen the other platform or the other version of the platform, the previous release, you see we changed a lot of things to make your life actually easier. So what we focused on is to give you the best possible overview about the devices you're managing on the Weave platform. But before I go into the detail, let's start on the very top. So the main difference is probably in the top navigation bar that we added a new tab, which is called Settings. I will show you around in that space in a minute. Right below that, we also reworked how you navigate around your different resources. So instead going back and forth as we had before, now you would arrive by default to your default workspace. And if you want to change between workspaces, you just click this drop down and you can go to the workspace. Just a quick reminder, what are workspaces? Workspaces are basically your groups of devices. So you can, what you see right here is we have workspace number 1 and it holds 2 nodes, aka devices. And you can manage your workspace as you want. It can be device types, it can be locations, and it can be certain projects. It's really up to you. If you are part of multiple organizations, which is a level up, you would find a drop down here instead of a static name. You're part of the product team organization. You can also select to be part of different organizations and jump between organizations. On the right of the toolbar, now you can add the devices right here to the workspace. You would find the same menu as you found before. You would just click on register node, give it a name and add it to your workspace. If you want to have a detailed overview how this works, you can find another video about how to install the Weave agent to one of your devices. So let's go into the dashboard in more detail. So what we developed is what we call node cards. So these node cards hold all the information you would need in order to see how your device is actually acting on this platform. So it starts with the name of the node, which I would always recommend to give it a really easy to identifiable name. In this case, we have, for example, the leakage sensor, or I always have a virtual instance connected to run certain tests. Then below that, we have the device type. In this case, it's a Combus Rev Pi Core 3. And in the very top right, we have a little indicator which tells us what's the connectivity status of this device. If it's green, it means connected. If it's yellow, there are certain problems. If it's red, it's disconnected. And if it's blue, it means it's registered but not yet connected. Below that, you would find 2 tabs. One holds all the edge applications and the other tab holds all the device information. So what you would see now is what is the CPU usage of your device? What is the memory at the moment used? And what is the free space or the use space of your storage? This is especially important if you are running multiple edge applications and you want to check if you still have enough resources available in order to deploy another application, or maybe you need to manage your resources. Below that, you would find the current version of the agent installed, so you can also track if there's a new version available, or if all your devices hold the same version. For example, in this case, we see we have different versions of the agent installed, so I should update this on my virtual instance. So let's go back to the tab of the edge applications. What you see here is basically a list of applications deployed to your device. In this case, you have only one deployed, which is a water alarm. If you click on it, it would open up in the application builder so you can actually see what's going on. Then right to it, we have the status of this application that's currently running. And what you can do on the right, you have all the orchestration operations. So you can stop the application and resume it again. You can also undeploy it, which would mean that you undeploy the application but keep all the modules on the device. So you can deploy a new version without the requirement of downloading all the modules again. And then you have the remove option to actually fully remove the application from the device. You would see as many applications are running, you would see the list growing and growing and growing, and you can take all the options from here. Right below that, we have a little indicator, which is basically a key. Why it is a key? We introduced a new feature, which is keys and secrets. We want to make sure that all the sensitive information you want to use within your applications, like API keys, secrets, phone numbers, passwords, you name it, can be encrypted securely, transferred to the nodes end-to-end encrypted, and only the nodes you desire can then decrypt the secret and actually use it. But before I talk to theoretically, I'll show you how it will work. So let's go to the Edge application builder and create a new Edge application. So here we see all the Edge applications we already built, including the actions you can take, deploy it, duplicate it, view it, or delete it. But let's start from scratch and create a new Edge application. So if you're not familiar with our Edge application builder, it's actually quite simple. On the very left, you have all the modules you can use in order to create Edge applications, which are divided into three main categories. The input modules, which basically defines how the data is coming into your device. Then the processing modules, which shows you, which basically allows you to define how the data should be processed, should be filtered, should be compressed, should be aggregated, etc. And then the last step is the output. So where do you want to have the data sent? Is it a messaging system? Is it a database? Is it a ticketing system? Is it some sort of visualization? It's really up to you. But let's start with the input, of course. Let's see how we want to define the input. So you have a lot of different options. You have very common IoT protocols. You have certain simulators as well, like CoinFlip is a binary simulator, or what I want to use now is a DHT sensor simulator. So if you just want to play around and explore a little bit of the cool new features, you can just drag this in. And what the simulator does is basically sending temperature and humidity data on a simulated way on a regular basis. So it's a very easy thing to play around with. So we apply this. And then in the second step, let's say we want to just filter for the temperature data, which is over 20 degrees. So let's put in a comparison filter, connect these two, then click on this, and on the right, it would open up our configuration pane. So now we can filter for a certain input label. In this case, you would filter for temperature. Just as a recap, if you look before on the DHT, you can see what kind of labels we're generating, temperature and humidity. And we are now particularly looking for the temperature. And then we want to filter for a certain condition, which is greater than 20 degrees. And in the next step, I show you how you can make use of the secrets. So let's go down here. Let's, for example, take in the new Airtable module. By the way, we are releasing modules on a regular basis. So if you're not having right now the module you would actually need, you can reach out to us and you can check with us if you already have it on our roadmap, or you just stay tuned because we're really releasing on a regular basis. So maybe the next day you would find a module you actually need. But let's go back to this application. So I clicked on the Airtable module, and what you see on the right, or the biggest change on the right, is that we now introduce a toggle below the text input, which basically switches the text input to a select menu. You can, of course, switch back and forth. So the Airtable base ID is something you would need to look up on your Airtable account usually, as well as the API key and the data table, which is usually really annoying to do when you create an application just to have the Airtable thing open. Then maybe you need to Google, okay, where are these values? So we make your life really easy by allowing you to store these values once on the platform and reuse it whatever often you need it. So let's select we want to use a secret. Let's look up the base ID. Here it is. And now we have the base ID added. The same with the API key, which is a very sensitive value, right? So we look it up and we see it here. Very important, you would never be able to see the actual value here. You just see how you store this value or what name you store this value, which I will show you in a minute. And then in the very end, we have the data table ID. So here we go. So this way, we allow you to configure an application even faster, because now you can always, when you want to use the Airtable, you can just use this configuration, pre-configured values, which are securely stored in the platform. So we just apply. And this has certain advantages. First of which is these secrets are usable organization-wide. Means if in your organization, one particular person is responsible for managing all your business systems, like your Slack channel, like your databases, like your SAP instance, etc., etc. And this person has the knowledge about all this API keys and access codes. This person can create the secrets, and other people can use it for their applications without having access to the actual secret value. The second thing I just demonstrated, it's very, very easy to store certain default values you need to reuse and reuse and reuse. So, and of course, the third very important, probably the most important part of it, that you don't want to share sensitive credentials in an unencrypted manner with a device. So in this way, we make sure that only devices you intend can use your sensitive information. So I won't deploy this Edge application, but you would normally now save this Edge application and then deploy it to the nodes which already have this key you encrypted the secrets with. What I show you now is how you would transact a key to a node in order to enable it to use this application we just created. Therefore, we go into settings, which is our new tab, which I will show you around as well. In the settings, you would be able to just select the organization you are in and you want to change the settings for. And then you see you have multiple new options. You have the workspaces, where you can manage all the workspaces, where you can add new workspaces, you can delete them, you can rename them. You have the secrets, which we just used. This is a list of secrets. You have the keys, where you can generate new keys and transfer it to the nodes, and you have the users. But let's stay at the keys. So if you haven't generated a key yet on your organization, it will ask you to generate a key first, because you would need an encryption and decryption key in order to make use of the secrets. So we generate a new key, which we won't do now because it would break all the secrets which are generated with this key. And then it will show you the key once. It will allow you to download the key once. So we highly recommend to download the key and store it in a secure manner, because we're not able to retrieve the key at a later point in time. It's really just shown once and it's up to you to store it. You generate the key, and the next step, you would like to transfer this key to your devices, which should be able to decrypt your secrets. So let's select the key file. You see I stored my key file here. I say open, and now I see the list of nodes which are available to receive this key file. So we can select as many nodes as we want, let's say all of them, and then we can scroll below and we have transfer keys to node. I won't do this now because these nodes already have the key file, but this is how we can do it. So now these nodes would be able to use the secrets. So let's check how we can create a new or add a new secret. Let's go to the secrets tab, and as you see, here are all the secrets which are already created. We have a Telegram token, Slack hook, Airtable API key, and whatnot. We won't be able to check what the secrets actually are. The only thing we can do is to delete it. That's it. So if we want, so it's stored in a many secure manner. So if you want to add a new secret, we just click on add secrets. We need to again use the key file we just saved in order to decrypt the secret. We give it a name, let's call it demo secret. Sorry for this little typo. Then let's say it's a password, and then we can create the secret. Now see in the list below, we have this demo secret. We couldn't look up what it actually holds, like the password, because it's encrypted. But this is basically how easy it is to add a secret and make it usable in your Edge application. If you run into any problem, some security breach or whatnot, you can just go back to keys, generate a new key pair, and all the secrets you created before with the old key won't be usable anymore. That's very important to know. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the new features. I hope this video helped you to find your way around. If you have any questions, please drop comments below. I also will add some more detailed documentation how actually our keys and secrets management works, so you can make sure that it actually lives up to your security standards. And you can also subscribe to this channel, because we will release videos on regular basis to educate you a bit more what kind of things you can create, how you can play around with the Edge application builder, how you can create new applications with multiple inputs and multiple outputs, and how can you basically orchestrate applications at scale. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.